Stephmas is all about.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to another Vlogmas, aka Stephmas. Today is day 7. Hey! I can't believe we made it 7 whole days of being consistent, and I can't wait to keep being consistent until day 25. It's just great. It just feels good when you feel like you're accomplishing something of being consistent. I think that's a great thing, and I can't do this without you guys, so thank you. Super appreciative of you guys watching it. To me, it's not about the views, it's just being consistent is the main thing. But today's video, we're going to be focusing on Dulce Alavez. If you guys do not remember or recall, I have touched on her story in my Missing Person Case Mondays videos. And I also did an update on the known suspect, not a known suspect, but someone they have in mind of who potentially has kidnapped Dulce. So recently, her mother was on Dr. Phil, and I wanted to actually watch that video with you guys. I have not seen this video because I like to do all of my watches with you because it makes the opinion fresh and much more real. So she was on Dr. Phil, I want to say, I don't even remember, on December 6th. So we're going to watch that video. It may be chopped up, so don't be confused when you're watching this video because I don't want to get copyrighted, because again, I don't know how YouTube may do that. So I may just like watch some, chat about it, and then turn it back on, whatnot. We'll figure it out. But again, thank you guys for tuning in for 7 whole days. Let's keep it going. Let's keep this motivation and consistency up. Boom, Lego.
I'm very sorry for the circumstances. I hate that we're here talking about your child. You must feel terrible about this.
Yes.
Now, how many children do you have?
2, and I'm currently pregnant.
How far along are you?
6 months.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So she's been missing
She looks nervous.
She's 5 years old, correct?
Yes.
You had been to a gas station and gotten some ice cream, correct?
Yes.
This is of you guys walking into the station, right?
Yes.
Who is this right here?
My sister.
Okay, and is this the 3-year-old
Yes.
back here? And okay.
Hey guys, so I will be jumping in between this episode because I have been trying to upload this thing 3 times and I've been getting copyrighted. So basically in this scene, Dr. Phil is asking her about the 3-year-old not being able to speak. And he's also asking her where she was prior to going to the park. So Dulce's mother basically says she was at her mom's house because she was waiting for Dulce and her little sister to get off the bus because they take the same bus to school.
Both get off the bus at the same time.
Okay, get off the school bus.
Yes.
So you drove the car from your mother's house to this store.
Yes.
In thinking back, we now know that there may have been a red van involved, right?
Yes.
Do you recall seeing a red van or noticing anything behind you? I know you didn't at the time, but do you think back in your...
So right here, she tells Dr. Phil no, pretty much. She didn't see a red van, and after leaving the store, she didn't see a red van as well. So Dr. Phil asks her about the red van. He continues with the red van just to kind of get some clarity. And then he goes on to ask how far was the park from the store. She states that the park was about 5 minutes from the store in the car. Cool. So then he asks her how was the setup of the park. Basically, when she rose up to the park, that's when she parked. Her and her sister stayed in the vehicle, and her daughter and son went to go play at the park.
Yes. But I couldn't see the swings because there's like a hill.
A bit of a hill?
Yeah.
How long had they been out of sight? Was it like a minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes or
5 to 10.
5 to 10 minutes? And they're out of sight, but you know they're in the park.
And then at this point, she tells Dr. Phil that about 5 to 10 minutes of not seeing Dulce, she later gets out the vehicle to go search for her. And at this point, this is where she cannot seem to find her. She thinks that Dulce is playing like hide and seek, but she later comes to find out that Dulce isn't. And this is where he asks her to kind of recount pretty much her son. And like I said previously, the son really cannot speak that much.
Girl sister, you say, we haven't seen him for a while. What made you get out of the car and go?
Because it was weird. Because we didn't see them. Because they usually play and they don't go out of sight.
That was her first thing. I don't judge parents how they do their kids at the park, but with me, I'm so like cautious and scared that someone's gonna take my kids. I'm not sitting in no car. And I get that she's pregnant, so I can understand what she was probably thinking, but at the same time, it's like, people are crazy, you know? And it sucks because if she did not like have anything to do with the disappearance of her child, like that's gonna eat at her. And then you're pregnant.
So you thought that's unusual?
Yes.
So that triggered and you better go check.
First I thought that she was playing hide and seek. I didn't want to believe that somebody took her.
And you see the 3-year-old and he was crying.
Yes.
And what did you say?
I told him, where's your sister? And he just pointed behind some buildings. I looked behind these buildings.
Oh, and so for all the people that said in my video that the little boy didn't point her mom, his mom just said her son just pointed at the building where Dulce so-called went, or where they seen her go. Because people were in my last video saying that no, the little boy didn't say anything, he didn't tell his mom anything, and she clearly just...
And I couldn't find her.
What kind of buildings are they?
They keep equipment there, like so they could cut the grass around the park and everything. I came down the path looking for her, yelling her name, and she wasn't answering.
How many people were in the park?
No one. There was just girls in the basketball court.
At this point, she says the little girls basically say that they seen a black man near the building. And as she goes on, she also states that the little girls were the ones who pointed out that there was a red van. Dr. Phil asks her, well, where could the red van basically be parked? And she says behind that red building or whatnot, there's kind of like a parking spot that you can kind of park at that flows where the basketball courts are.
It's like a path going through around.
So you come into the park and your son entered the park with his ice cream, and you see him standing in the middle of the park crying, and he has dropped his ice cream onto the ground. Now, for him to have done that, there's a good chance he saw something that
something must have startled him.
Upset him a lot, right?
Yes.
You went up to him, what did you say?
Where's your sister?
And he pointed towards the buildings.
Yes.
He didn't say anything?
No.
And what did you do?
I went and looked for her because I thought she was playing hide and seek.
A mother's worst fear, man.
What was her name?
Yes, I was yelling her name.
Yeah. When she didn't answer, what was the first thought in your mind?
That she was hiding.
She's just playing a trick, just hiding.
Yeah.
How long did you look for her before it hit you?
It would have hit me the first freaking second because I don't play them type of games.
Sure, because I looked for her everywhere at the park. And I even asked people that were there.
Because it's a big deal to pick up the phone and call 911. As a mother, you have to cross that threshold of saying, my child is missing. And that's a horrible feeling, right?
And at this point, Dr. Phil says what made her end up calling the police, because at this point, you know, you get into panic mode, and he's trying to figure out, like, at what point did she, or what made her call the police officer, so that way that she can seek some type of assistance in finding Dulce.
Okay, You say people said somebody took her. What people?
The girls from the basketball court.
Okay, what did they say?
They saw her running towards the buildings, and they said that when she went running, a black guy passed by behind those buildings.
They saw her running towards the buildings.
Yes.
And basically, Dr. Phil then asks her, why would Dulce leave her brother? Which is a great question, because why would she run towards those buildings and not take her brother with her?
Behind.
Yes.
What would entice Dulce to leave her brother in the middle of the park and run towards buildings?
I asked the brother what happened. He just said, because he doesn't know how to speak, he just told me to come. He said somebody called her.
And then Dr. Phil asks her, you say it was a black man, and she basically repeats that the little girls from the basketball court told her that it was a black man. And then he's really trying to just like decipher and figure out, well, maybe the guy tried to entice her with something, because the little girls didn't say they seen him waving towards her. So he's just really trying to dissect what really happened at the playground, because I'm trying to figure it out as I'm listening, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this sounds like a mother's worst nightmare, for real.
What could he say?
The thing about that is, like, you can tell your kids all day long about the stranger danger thing, but 9 times out of 10, kids are so naive and kids are so pure and innocent that you don't even realize, like, they will talk to a stranger. Sometimes it's just that's what it is.
Okay. Would she run to a stranger?
No.
So is it your theory that it may be somebody she knew?
Yes.
I mean, let's go through your life. How many African-American men do you know that your daughter would know?
No one.
Then how would she know this person?
I'm not sure.
So are you thinking it's somebody that she knew that you didn't?
Cats and dogs, a lot.
Yeah, that might have been what enticed her.
Exactly. It's simple as that. Help me find my puppy. Like, kids are naive.
Now, the Amber Alert said Hispanic man.
Yeah.
But you're saying that they told you a black man.
That's what the girl from the basketball told me.
Okay. Well, if they say black man, why does the Amber Alert say Hispanic?
I didn't even realize that when I did the thing. I didn't even realize that they had said that it was a black man, and then they changed it and said Hispanic. So I'm kind of glad he asked that question, because I didn't even realize that myself.
When you say they didn't tell me what they know, the police didn't tell me, what do you mean they didn't tell you? Did you not demand that they tell you what they knew?
No.
Because you know more than anybody. You're the mother. You're the little girl's mother.
At this part, Dr. Phil is 100% right. You are the mother, and like, he's basically trying to get it through her head, like, you're her mom. You should be demanding from the police, like, what's happening? Did I pass the lie detector test because you have me taking these things and doing this? You're not telling me, information. And I know some people will say, well, you don't want to look like you're the prime suspect, because when people, are really helpful in the investigation, sometimes they try to think that you are that person of interest. But 9 times out of 10, no. You want to know. Like, for me, I would want to know. And Dr. Phil basically just keeps asking her why she hasn't really demanded any information and why she hasn't really put up a fight for her daughter. She has this real nonchalant way about her that watching it is so annoying, because I'm not saying that you can't have emotion, or some people really don't suppress their emotions when things like this occur.
You said there was a point at which the police thought that you and your family were behind this, right?
Yes.
They suspected you?
Yes.
What did they say to you?
They didn't saw me crying when that happened, because I don't know why I don't cry in front of people. I'm not sure why.
So at this point, Dr. Phil basically, he agrees, like, you know, some people really don't show emotion when things are breaking because you're numb, like you're really just trying to figure out what is exactly happening. But on the flip side, he basically just says, like, the police suspect her and her family? And she later says yes, and she had to take that lie detector test, and he asks her what were the results, and she basically says again that she didn't know. And I'm just like, no, you're gonna tell me what my results were.
I'm going to just ask you straight up, did you try to sell your daughter? Why do you think they asked you that?
Because a rumor came out.
Dr. Phil ain't playing.
Because people have speculated that you went to a park with no cameras, not a single soul around. And some people found that suspicious. And the reason I'm asking you about them is so you can put them to rest. So people have wanted to ask you, did you do this? Did you sell your daughter? Are you involved in her abduction?
I don't think going to the park is suspicious because, I mean, there's plans. You don't, who's thinking about cameras being around at the park? Not saying that she was thinking that or whatever, but I'm saying I wouldn't put that on her.
Police are looking for witnesses. This is a sketch of a witness. Do you know anybody that looks like this?
No.
So we're hoping that somebody will recognize this and know who this is and go, hey, by the way, you were in a park one day when a child was abducted.
Why does sketch kind of look like her?
Do you blame yourself for her being taken?
At some part, yes.
How so?
Because I wasn't even there when they were both running towards the park. If I was there, none of this would have happened.
Why weren't you there? Why were you in the car instead of in the park with your children?
I was going to help my sister do her homework.
Could have done that in the park.
He basically tells her she could have basically helped the homework, doing it at the bench at the park. You know, pretty much what everyone else is saying. Like, you let a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old go to the park by themselves, and, you know, you weren't really looking after them. And that's the most bizarre part of it all. It's like, you should have just done a little bit more.
No está y yo me pongo muy triste. Me levanto de las 3 de la mañana, me asomo por la ventana, no la veo. Tiene 5 años nada más y yo no entiendo por qué esa persona se lo llevó. Ellos no lo entienden por qué hacer esto a nosotros.
And at this point, Dr. Phil asks, how has her family been treating her since the disappearance of Dulce, or pretty much after it went down? And pretty much they were upset with her because they trusted her with Dulce. And I'm not sure if I might have removed that part, but, you know, she had Dulce at 14 years old and her mother had custody of Dulce. So pretty much her family is really pissed with her.
Your daughter was kidnapped while you were scratching a lottery ticket. Is that true?
Yes.
I thought she was helping homework.
Does that make you feel like you were being a bad mother at that point?
Yes.
Looking back on it, does it seem like a bad?
I mean, now that I'm watching this video and, like, this is so much better for me to, like, really grasp her as the mother. Now that she has said that Dulce never lived with her, I can understand why she doesn't have emotional tie. Although that is her child, she didn't physically live in the home with her. And I can understand why the grandmother is more emotional than her. But on the flip side of it, it's just like I'm trying not to judge, but it's like, you're in the car scratching off a lottery ticket and you let your 3- and 5-year-old play by themselves? Lady. At this point, Dr. Phil asks her, does she think anyone that she has known may have done this? And she ponders a little bit, and then she says she thinks it may be someone who was trying to basically talk to her, and she wasn't trying to give him the time of day. And he had asked her if that was her daughter. Now, that's neither here or there. He could have just been asking a simple question, but she basically tells Dr. Phil this.
Remind you that there is a language barrier here. Now, Emma's first language is Spanish, and when I ask her to speak in her mother tongue, you can see the emotion that is beneath the surface.
Dr. Phil be looking so funny in this part. Like, I really had to, like, say that. Because I don't know what he's thinking at this point.
Te queremos mucho, Dulce, donde quiera que estés. Nosotros estamos pensando mucho en ti. Todos te extrañamos, tu hermanito, mi mamá. Todos queremos que vuelves. No te preocupes que nosotros todavía te vamos a seguir a buscar hasta encontrarte. Te queremos y te amamos mucho.
At this point, when she said her saying in Spanish, I definitely felt something as I was watching it originally. And it just made me tear up just a tad. I just don't know what to think because, again, not everyone is emotional. Not everyone shows their emotions. And like Dr. Phil said, you know, she showed emotion when she was speaking in Spanish. And I just really hope and pray that she has nothing to do with this because that is just heartbreaking. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised with so much that is happening in this world. But that was pretty much her part of the interview. And now I'm going to show you another part of a spokesperson for the family. So, wait a minute.
She's told me that they're upset that she might know something.
So they're accusatory?
I think some are.
When she told you that they think that she knows more than she's telling, what did she say about it?
It has nothing to do with it. And she knows nothing. And I've asked her numerous times in different kind of ways.
And at this point, Dr. Phil's asked the spokesperson if he thinks the family knows something, but they are afraid to say anything because, of course, some of her family are undocumented. So that's why a lot of people are not coming forward because they are afraid they may get deported. And then he asks about the man that she states that she thinks may have something to do with it. And maybe, hopefully, Dr. Phil can try to interview him or get some type of information out of him. And that he would like to raise the reward money in finding Dulce. And he also states how her family is very upset with her. And they say it a lot. She has told the spokesperson that her family is very upset with her because she was supposed to be responsible for Dulce. And they think maybe she knows something more and she's just not saying it. So that's basically the interview, guys. I just really wanted to watch that with you all because, like I said, it lets me get that first impression just as well as you. My take from this all is like Dr. Phil said and the spokesperson said, you know, she's very detached, she's emotionless, you know. I feel like she knows more than what she's saying. I do agree with that. Do I think she harmed her baby? I don't really think she harmed her baby, but I do believe she knows more than what she's saying because it's just so much I feel like there's left out. And, you know, one minute she's helping her sister with her homework, but then the next minute you're scratching off a lottery ticket, and then you just let a 5 and a I just can't get over the fact you let a 5 and a 3-year-old go to play at a park by themselves, regardless if you're watching them from the car or not. Like, I'll say that time and time again, that's just not something that I would do as a parent. You know, I don't judge what people do, but this is why we have situations as such, because anything can just happen to them. You know, people legit prey on babies, and this is why we're here. This is why we're searching for her, because, you know, her mother failed to protect her, and that's just the honest truth. You know, if I was her mom, I would be fucking pissed with her too, because, like, you lost my grandbaby. And I just think that it's very imperative that, you know, we talk about these things, and we talk to our children about not talking to strangers, and just, even when we're tired, just taking that necessary step to just be better about our surroundings. And if we're going places, just being extra vigilant, you know, in those moments, because again, anything can happen in a spare moment. I mean, look at the baby. Went play at the park and then she's gone. You know, it's like, this is why we have to, like, be better and do better. And all I can say is just keep praying that they find her alive. That's my goal, you know. But The way this world is going is so scary. You know, human trafficking is real. Kidnapping is like legit real, of course. This is why we're here. You know, I don't know. I really don't know, like, and it's crazy because they, like, when the spokesperson said something about believing that she knows that her baby is fine and that could be why she's not having any emotions, that could definitely be true as well. So I don't know, maybe she did give the baby up because she was just mad her parents had her and she's about to have another baby. I don't know, but one way or another, you know, I just really do hope and pray they find her, because this is like crazy. And like the comments, I was looking at the comments on the actual video, because I got this video from Mr. Elise 25, so you guys go subscribe to him because he was posting the Dr. Phil video. Like, some person said, I feel like she didn't let the 8-year-old play because she can talk, so she wasn't allowed to play the play. The mom set this up, and if the 8-year-old was to play, then she would have told the correct story. That's one way to look at it, you know, because the 8-year-old would have been able to really decipher what had happened to, if something would have happened if she was out on the playground. The 8-year-old would have definitely been able to tell what had happened to her. That's definitely true. One person said the mom definitely was involved. I don't think she killed the poor girl, but I think she sold her or something. Someone said, Lord, forgive me if I'm wrong, but from the day this child went missing, this mother has shown no emotions or cried. I doubt she's on medication that is numbing her behavior since she's pregnant. I don't think she's taken anything according to news reports. Her mother has custody of Dulce since she was small. Who goes on national news to a huge platform to get your daughter and asks public for help and shows no emotions when talking about their 5-year-old missing. She knows where the baby is. As a mother, I would know every detail of this case. While she keeps saying she's unsure, I don't know, the story is missing pieces. Again, I agree. This story is definitely missing pieces. What else? People are just saying she knows what happens. Look at her body language. The mom is guilty. She doesn't seem that far along her pregnancy. Wasn't she pregnant? My guess is she freaked out about having 3 kids, and since she has never really attached to her first child since her mom had custody, she was the one she got rid of or sold her because of it. Everyone keeps saying she has something to do with her. Her own family thinks she did it. Person said their heart breaks for the beautiful little girl's grandmother. You can see the pain she's going through. I feel like something is really off with the mother. She just isn't showing enough emotion for me, but I try to remind myself people deal with things differently. Agreed. That's why people definitely deal with things differently. She said, you know, I'm praying and I hope that she doesn't have anything to do with the child. And that's really my stance too. I know that everyone doesn't have the same emotional capability. Me, I'm a freaking crier. I would cry my ass off. Like, yeah. Someone said, I've seen plenty of parents of missing children, and language barrier does not block their emotions. That's true too. I have definitely seen some videos of, you know, Spanish and people or Mexican individuals, and they definitely show emotion. So that's true too. But again, everyone shows emotion differently. So yeah. And people are just basically saying something doesn't sit right with this interview. Y'all. So again, let me know what you think has happened to Dulce. Do you agree? Do you think her mother is lying? Does she know more? What do you really think happened to Dulce? And hopefully we can find this poor baby. So again, guys, I will see you tomorrow in the next video. Tomorrow's video will be another tearjerker for real. Like, oh my God. But see you tomorrow, guys.